Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, enemies and friends, welcome to the show that never ends. You are tuned into On the Real on the R Squared Network, where we keep you up to date on the latest in the world of TV and movies. We were gone for 2 weeks, but now we are back, and there's a lot of news to go over. It might be a little bit of a long show. I'm your host, Steve Johnson, and joining me today, as always, is my brother from the same mother, Mr. Johnson.
How y'all doing out there in TV land? Miss us?
All right,
I know I missed y'all.
And the last best hope for the resistance, Mr. Woods.
What up?
How you doing, good sir?
Not bad.
All right. I guess without further ado, why don't we get into the news?
Yes.
Okay. So, first up, we have the new Bumblebee trailer dropped today. Okay. So, I know I've been fooled before by Transformers trailers.
Right.
But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I think they cracked it. I don't even want to say it's back. I want to say it's finally here. Because this trailer looks better than what Michael Bay did even with the first Transformers. Minus no Bernie Mac. You can't replace that. But
I mean, him cursing out his grandmother, it's okay. If
you
he's
know,
not
the
cursing
ghost
out
of
his
Bernie
grandmother.
Mac talking about choosing the car.
Yeah, you had to have him in there. So you did get a little bit of Bernie Mac. What do we think about this?
Yo, man, Shockwave. That was a big
G1
deal.
Designs.
Yeah. That was a big deal.
That's pretty cool. And he's just there like, where's Optimus Prime? Even though they're trying to act like Optimus wasn't in the movie. Or they didn't want to tell you.
Well, technically, he was just like maybe he doesn't even,
show up to the very end.
Or maybe he's not in it. Maybe they just lead to him being in the next one.
I mean, it's all setting up the universe. That's what it's all about.
Now, the real question that I have is this a reboot, like a complete reboot, meaning none of the Michael Bay stuff happened,
right?
Or is this just a prequel?
Regardless of whatever, none of the Michael Bay stuff happened because it's all after this crap, so it doesn't matter. It's in the future.
No, I understand that.
And when does this movie take place? In the 80s?
In the 80s, yes.
So that means they got like 30-something years of no Michael Bay to freaking effing it up. So it's a whole new, slate.
More importantly, that means they have 30-something years that they couldn't fix this guy's damn voice box.
Yo, more about that.
No. It was a nifty thing in Michael Bay's first film. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I like how he did that play on it with Bumblebee. But beyond that, it's just Bumblebee just can't speak.
Let me ask you a question. With all this unlimited access to information and internet, you telling me he couldn't download a new voice box or some shit? Come on, son.
I mean, did they have internet back then?
Really?
I mean, but from Cybertron.
There was always internet.
Yo, come on, man. Yo,
their whole existence.
What the hell
is the internet?
Even before our internet, like the military had internet, so they had telecommunication through satellite some type of way.
Okay, so
why can't his emotion or his lack of emotion be like a plot point?
The whole thing is like a girl and her dog. That's like the point of the
pansexual.
What?
That's what it is.
No.
That's what pansexual is. No, it is. That's what it is.
No, but that's not what this. It's not about like anything sexual. She
has a relationship with the robot,
but it's not the Shape of Water with this thing, right?
That's what you think.
I don't look. I am not only pleasantly surprised. I'm not cautiously optimistic. I do not agree with you. There's no sex in that robot.
Man,
there's no sex in any robot.
Touching the side of his face, I beg to differ.
It's emotions. That's all.
Yeah.
And so why can't that be a plot device instead of him not having a voice box?
No.
Bumblebee is trying to fill her with some hot fucking motor oil.
Sounds like it's time for us to move on to the next topic. Anything else? Like what? Just give me a trailer review. How about that?
It wasn't even whack. That's my review.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, man. Like, the G1 designs, my only takeaway is even though obviously it's 3D, even though it's 3D, and it's animated, or CGI rather, 3D, CGI or whatever, but I just wonder, because it's in that G1 style, is there going to be a point where I'm looking at it, it's just kind of ridiculous? Because in the end of that scene of the trailer. There was some battle. I don't know who Bumblebee was like crashing and fighting, but there was nothing exciting about it. It just seemed like very cartoonish.
I thought that looked cool, in my opinion.
I just like the simplification of the transformation. How it's not all these too many gears and stuff moving, just pistons
like
popping,
things that make zero sense.
It just got ridiculous.
Also, I think the idea of just getting back to like straight up story,
right,
which is like instead of, because I think Michael Bay was just kind of like, look, nobody's paying attention to these things. Show them some explosions, give them some popcorn, let some gears spin around, have somebody in tight shorts. Whatever, right?
King Arthur was a drunk.
So much stuff blowing up in Michael Bay movies. It's just like it's hard to keep track of the action.
And the funny thing about Michael Bay,
what robots are fighting, which robots, who's winning right now? I don't even know what's going on.
Michael Bay,
it was just noise.
Yeah.
And what frustrates me about like Michael Bay is because he's not a whack director. Like when he shows up to work, he shows up.
Okay.
Like if you see,
he didn't show up to those Transformers.
Not the first one. I like the third one though. That Attack on Chicago. That was clean.
Dark of the Moon.
I mean, whatever.
yeah, Dark.
But like if you see like 13 Hours or Pain and Gain,
right?
Like when he wants to work, he works. But I think he just looks at the Transformer stuff as.
Look, man, he's still in the toilet for that Revenge of the Fallen movie.
Yeah,
there's no whatever.
No, but the last night is crazy.
The last night, like with the Excalibur shit, and it's just
that was garbage too.
I don't need this sword for absolutely nothing.
That was hot
garbage
too.
That shit was crawling all over him the whole entire movie, and then it's just like for him to pull up the sword.
Oh, the medallion.
That medallion. Yeah, it was just like he needed it for something, and then it's just like no, stop, and then he don't never use the sword for shit. It just went away.
Since when Mark Wahlberg is stopping a Transformer from cutting him in half.
With a sword that's way too big, like a cloud sword.
Look,
anyway, the point is, this has nothing to do with Michael Bay, and that's the point. The director of this is Travis Knight, who did Kubo and the Two Strings.
The Transformers had chains on, man.
Don't remind me.
One had a gold tooth.
The beard shit, bro.
Kubo and the Two Strings.
Why are you smoking a cigar?
Who knows, man?
Kubo and the Two Strings director Travis Knight is doing this.
Yo.
So I'm very excited, and that trailer, like it. Now here's the fun fact, since you didn't do one today.
No fun facts.
This movie releases on the same day as Aquaman.
Aqua Bro,
and not done yet.
That's messed up.
Alita Battle Angel. And 2 days before that, the new Mary Poppins movie comes out.
Oh, and don't forget
and
that Disney about to drop like 3 trailers that day. For Marvel movies that they didn't even tell you about,
and potentially knowing Disney,
straight to Netflix,
they'll drop like, Punisher the same day as that comes out.
Wait, is Punisher coming back out again?
Punisher is. They're filming it now. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, but the other thing is, the week before that, you have Mortal Engines and another movie. And this makes me
I'm looking forward to seeing Mortal Engines.
This makes me Mortal Engines looks terrible. I was excited about it until I saw the trailer. The interesting thing about this, right, because this is not on the slate, but I think it's related.
Right.
So maybe Disney saw that all of these movies wanted to release within the same week.
Wait, is there a new trailer out to Mortal Engines?
Don't think so. Oh. I don't think so. Not yet, anyway. Right. They had the teaser, and then they had the full trailer that showed. Okay. Anyway, but the point is, maybe with Solo, Disney didn't release it in December because they knew how crowded December was going to be between Aqua Bro, Alita Battle Angel, Bumblebee, Mary Poppins, that's their movie, but and then Mortal Engines, and I think there's one other big movie. Or maybe Harry Potter's also coming out.
Maybe they released it because they wanted to get this money so they can get Fox.
I mean, okay, so now speaking of that, Bob Iger, who had a lot of things to say about a lot of things, he talked about that, and he said that the release of he says he feels like they rushed Solo, and that was his call and not anyone else's. Basically falling on the sword for Kathleen Kennedy.
Right, good for him.
And it makes sense. They were trying to push through the Fox deal, and they wanted to boost the share price up and figured it's a Star Wars movie. We could throw it out whenever we feel like.
So they thought all you got to do is put Star Wars in the name. It's going to make money. Apparently so they thought.
Doesn't
Didn't
work
even crack
like that
400
anymore.
million.
But there was this whole stink on the movie from before it even came out. I mean, they told you, yeah, it's finna flop even before it was even released. I'm like, how do they know that?
Well, I mean, that's because people didn't like it. Shouldn't have been Solo, right? I think you could have just said this is another Star Wars movie somewhere else in the galaxy,
and you're good,
and people would have took it. You can't you killed off the most iconic Star Wars character.
And then, by the way, let's look back at when he traveled through wherever and
right. And honestly, all of the robot sex stuff, people would have accepted it if it was a new character. Doing it with Lando, I think that
retroactively going back to Lando, everything bothered people.
But I think on its face, if you take out who they were, I think it was a cool movie. But if you're telling me that these people are Lando and Han, I don't buy it.
It wasn't whack. It just wasn't.
Yeah, but for a Star Wars movie, that's like that's not cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was interesting that Bob Iger sort of tried. It's cool that he's taking ownership. No, he's taking ownership. That's what a leader does, right? Like at the end of the day, if Kathleen Kennedy made that decision, you still were at the top, right? And you let her make that decision.
Right.
In the same way Kathleen Kennedy let Rian Johnson have Luke Skywalker go out like a chump.
What do you think about a Luke Skywalker being young movie with them recasting?
You can't do it. No, not after Solo. No, don't trust it.
What do you think about Sebastian Stan playing him?
That'd be great. But
have you seen this?
I've seen well. That's always been out there. And the right is Sebastian Stan, and the left is Mark Hamill.
Yes, I'm aware.
But
I know.
No. But Mark Hamill jokes about this all the time. Yeah. Sebastian Stan calls him dad.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
it'll work, bro.
The '80s was wild. Not trying to put no dirt on your name.
I'm just saying,
Mark Hamill.
It could work if they have the right script.
Now,
it could work.
Funny enough, though, while he fell on the sword for Kathleen Kennedy in that same interview, they asked him about James Gunn, and he's like, "Yeah, that happened when I was on vacation. They told me about it." It's just like
he said, "I don't want that smoke."
So that was very interesting, and I think that's him playing because Bob Iger, trust me, is running for president, and he's trying to be as middle of the road as he can on everything.
You mean president of the United States?
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes. Now
Disney wants humans.
But the question is, who's going to take over for him afterwards?
A clone.
That could happen too. I can see it.
They're trying to pull Walt Disney out the deep freezer, and reattach his severed head to a freaking android body.
Walt Disney could be inside of Bob Iger right now.
We are on the same page.
Okay, so moving on.
Right.
Speaking of interesting trailers, and speaking of Disney,
okay,
Captain Marvel's trailer came out. Brie Larson,
big whoop,
smacking old ladies on the bus.
Big whoop.
Definitely was a punch.
The second time I watched it, it was meh.
Yeah, I thought meh the first time I watched it, and now I can't stop watching her punch the crap out of this old lady on the bus.
You want to know why? It's because I have never seen her before, and I have no feeling for her. Because it's like she's a new character, and the trailer doesn't her personality. It doesn't. It's not like she said some memorable shit to where it's just they're like, haha, that was funny or whatever. Her punching the old lady in the face, but she didn't
get the Russo brothers introduction. That's the benefit that Spider-Man and Black Panther got, right? And I think, and even if you look at Wonder Woman, people went crazy about Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman was introduced in Batman versus Superman, this is and everybody knows who Wonder Woman is. Most people do not know who Captain Marvel is, and so I think that's sort of how it was received. Because how hype were you when you saw the first Ant-Man trailer? That was a new character that a lot of people didn't know. Let me just put
this out there with new characters.
Well, I know about Ant-Man.
Because the other characters, let's say a Black Panther and a Spider-Man, they were introduced in other movies that were dope with characters that I've already seen. You feel me? I didn't go see either one of the Ant-Man movies in theaters. I didn't go see Yeah. I didn't go see
Shame.
I don't know if I'm gonna go
see
whatever. I don't know if I'm finna see this either because I don't know who she is. Man, I didn't see Thor in theaters either. After they proved themselves, I seen the third one the second and third one in theaters.
You saw
the first one?
No, he's saying the first two.
No.
Okay.
The first, what you call it? Captain America, did not see that in theaters. I seen the second one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? After the Avengers came out, it's just like, after the Avengers, I was all in. I was going to see all of them.
See it, right.
In theaters. But before that, no.
Here's a question. Speaking of Ant-Man,
I wasn't excited for Thor. I didn't read Thor comic books. I didn't read Captain America comic books. You know what I'm saying? The Iron Man shit just looked dope from the trailer, so I went to go see that.
Do we think that they're gonna give Ant-Man? First of all, do we think Ant-Man gets a third movie? Right, like it did well and it almost beat Justice League at the box office, which is crazy, but it still is like low for Marvel, like 600 million. And there's other factors there. Disney hasn't released any prices for movies in the last 2 years, so we don't know. But
it's just like we're very efficient. We're doing this shit for the low, but we ain't telling you for how low.
Exactly.
You know, I think.
But
go ahead.
My question is, if they do give him a third one, because this is a two-part question. Do we think he gets it because for a Marvel movie, even though it's wildly successful for a Marvel movie, it is less so? And if they give him a third movie, do they get rid of? I can't remember the director of it now. I'll come back to you on that. But do they change out directors and give him the sort of Captain America and Thor treatment, whereas they may have not started out as their favorite, like Iron Man was the favorite, right? And then they made everybody take Captain America seriously till now. Like a lot of people will tell you Captain America is their favorite, and then after Thor Ragnarok and then Infinity War, now a lot of people are like, the bandwagoners are like, oh, Thor's my new favorite.
Thor is my new favorite.
Of course.
It's not being a bandwagoner. He's just more interesting. Like if you watch, because Thor, he was a rock star after Ragnarok, and then what he did he was the star, besides Thanos, he was the star of Infinity War.
I mean, the Russo brothers.
That whole shit centered around him. You know what I'm saying? Like Captain America didn't have like no lines. Like you just seen him and he was there. You know, he got a beard and whatever the hell.
That's because the next movie's gonna be his.
I'm Steve. You know, Steve Rogers.
He said, "I am Steve Rogers." I think
much.
that
we don't trade lives. We don't trade lives.
Yeah.
No, I think that
what did Black Panther say is
one of
besides,
the things,
he said, all you will get is blood and ashes, and then he turned into blood and ashes.
One of the things that I saw as far as the question with the what they have to do with Ant-Man is actually not make him just where he increases his his height or his size, Giant right? Man. He turns into Giant Man and then he gets unconscious. You got to get rid, like if that's all you're gonna do with him every time.
No, it's the molecular like to get down to that molecular level, because they're not using that enough. But he's very instrumental to the next part because it's something that he can do or whatever.
Right.
Pim particles or
no,
whatever.
I'm just saying. I hope
so they were kind of they were kind of cruising with these first two more or less because they want to get to a certain point. So yes, they're going to have a third movie with them, even though the money didn't. It's not, as crazy as everyone else's. It's still, it'll be interesting if they say they're going to just stop at 2. Yeah, that they're going to just stop at 2. It's just like
all we do is make you big and small on a green screen. It don't require that much shit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, at some point, I want to see him actually be a hero and know how to use his powers, because I'm tired of seeing Ant-Man bumbling around like, oh, I'm going to shrink or I'm going to be a giant. I get that it's a comedy, right? But, like, actually have him be able to fight. Right,
and him not just bumbling around.
So he should be right on.
I mean,
par
he went through training.
But I'm saying at some point he should be on par with Hope Van Dyne. Right, he should be on par with the Wasp, where they could be a real team, and like he could actually be a productive member of the team. Right.
Yeah, we want to see him kicking names and taking ass.
Exactly.
So, I think real quick before we move on from the Captain Marvel, I was just going to say that one thing that stood out to me was the score.
In what?
In the trailer, the Captain Marvel trailer.
Okay.
Like that was the first thing that I had noticed from it. I was like, yo, whatever they got going for this trailer is like nuts or whatever. That like kind of struck out to me. And then the other thing I was going to say as far as Captain Marvel, what I find interesting is what I'm wondering what Disney is thinking.
I thought you would say you wonder if Nick Fury's gonna smash.
No. Is that no? But is because they're going in a unique route, right? Where it's starting. If they're going to talk about these tiers of power,
he grabs her ass and
right?
then she pokes him in the eye.
How are they going to show that on film, right? How are they going to show that on the big screen, right? Because they're coming to a place where there's many reasons why these Marvel movies work. Another one of them, in my opinion, is that there's familiarity. Right? Like we feel familiar with the faces we see on screen. So even though there's aliens, there's still humanoid in form and face and functioning, and there's speech and mannerisms. So we don't feel like, all right, what the hell am I watching on screen? But now as you're starting to bring in the Skrulls, and you have to bring in these other races.
The Kree.
And the Kree was okay because they still had humanoid form and stuff like that. And the Kree was a group where somebody could be Kree, but they still look human.
Well, because they're shapeshifters, right?
No, the Skrulls.
Oh, no, Skrulls. Okay, right, sorry. Kree. Okay.
So it's very important for them that what they're going to show.
People's powers?
The Skrulls, yeah, exactly. They can.
I've seen that Skrull where it's just they're like part thing and it was part human.
That's a super. That's a Super Skrull, where he took all of their powers, and he is the Super Skrulls. The Skrulls in general are super important in like Fantastic Four and in Marvel lore. Like
I hope that they look better than that in the movie because they look like some cheap.
Well,
but this is what I'm talking about. But that's what I'm talking about.
I said I hope it looks better when the movie comes out because it looked like some cheap Star Trek TV show makeup.
And this is why this is why it's a key point in Marvel as they're about to go into Phase 4 because you have in order to show these type of people on camera, you're gonna have to get a little more silly, right? And not silly in terms of how you take yourself or the seriousness of what you're putting out, but what you're showing on screen. And is the audience going to sit there and believe it, or are they going to say, "Yo, this looks stupid," and just kind of turn their minds off?
If we started with Infinity War, we would have been like, "This looks like
Supergirl on the CW, bro."
Like you know, we had to build to a point where Tony can like take his glasses off and a suit comes out of it.
Yeah.
Nanites.
I mean, they was doing that in Black Panther, and that really bothered me. Like,
I accept it,
but we allowed it, right? We allowed it barely because it came off of a chain.
Them, pulling up blankets and these blankets shooting lasers
honestly, I was okay with that. But like, just the idea, it's like, oh, my mask is on, it's off now. Now it's off. I want to say something, and you want to see my face because I'm paying for these actors.
Why the F would I take my mask off so you can shoot me in the face or throw a spear in it?
This shit don't make sense. But Spider-Man was doing it too with the Iron Spider costume.
Right. They should, if you want to do that, do it like how Tony Stark, where you see their face inside the mask and everything else is black, like that. I'm gonna take my whole mask off and I'm gonna put it back on, like that.
Just to deliver a line and then it's right back on. And we just like it made $2 million. And my problem with that is that they got away with it, and they're like, oh. The audiences didn't complain. Our two highest grossing movies, we just have mask disappearing and stuff.
Mask on, mask off.
Nobody's gonna care now.
Future style.
So I'm just. It could get.
He knew where I was going. But you had to build to that. So real quick, and we move forward. If you guys want to say something, it's just that I think that's where Disney, as they want to continue their pursuit of controlling all humans, is like, all right, how is the audience going to respond to this? Because we're going to have her turn up in flames and just like her eyes are going to glow and she has to blast people with these superpowers and stuff like that. And you're going to see that in Avengers 4 or whatever. So how is that going to really be received? And that's the key thing because they have to keep going with these.
Courtney's watching us. What's that?
Court was good. How are you going to show these powers on screen? And are people going to say, all right, this is stupid, I'm done?
I mean, at this point, I think if you got a talking raccoon and a tree that just says "I am Groot," and masks that just appear and disappear,
right?
I think people are just.
It's a fine line. I'm telling you, it's psychology of humans. It's a fine line.
Now, I will say this about the trailer before we move in.
Kicking shit around like a 2-year-old.
Right, but that was still far away from your eye where it worked. Yeah. I'm telling you.
the more I watch the trailer, the more I like it. I thought it was blah when I first saw it.
I still think it's blah.
But when first of all, it opens on a blockbuster, so it already won.
Right.
And then it ends with her punching the shit out of an old lady, on the bus.
Right.
Another win. You got Sam Jackson narrating, and I think he's going to hit it. Another win. The action with her flipping on top of the bus and shooting out the what you call it, that was dope. The shot of her tapping the window before she's about to fly off in the jet, that was dope, right? And so when we think about it, it's a lot of like dope scenes in there, right? And, you know, there's this whole controversy like, oh, she didn't smile at one time in the trailer. I'm like, shut up. She didn't smile.
Right.
So I honestly, my first reaction was the same as yours, but I've watched it maybe like 10 times now. And I don't know if this is me like subconsciously just saying I have to like superhero movies, but I like it more the more I watch it.
The score was dope.
The score too. So
okay,
let me ask you a question.
But the score for something that got me excited was, you know, the Joaquin joint. Just that little flashes and the flickering.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh, so you like that?
Laughing like that was just like the way they shot it, and then just the little twitch in his eyebrow, and then just face was serious. It's just like that's acting, like the little nuances.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just the way he moved and the whimsicalness of it.
Okay.
And you see the descent into madness just in that little 30-second clip. It was like I watched that shit like 20, 30 times.
Okay, so speaking of Marvel, we're moving on.
All right.
So apparently, news also came out that for the Disney streaming service, Marvel is going to be released. The MCU will release series starring actors from the movies. So right now they're talking about Loki and Scarlet Witch getting their own series.
Loki and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
They're getting their own
series.
Yeah. No, not together. Separately. Right? So the point is the side characters who don't get movies will get TV shows to fill out the story in between movies.
That's smart because just like if they're going to be charging for this anyway, I'll pay for that.
Right. And the whole idea, this is not like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where it's like, or even the Netflix stuff where it's like, okay, these characters will never show up in the movies. These are the actors from the movies getting their own series, and I think that's super interesting. Like that's where you give Hawkeye a series.
You think people are there? It is.
I mean, I guess it's gonna be Marvel's Arrow, but I don't watch Arrow either, so there's that.
Thank you. This guy knows.
I mean, archery.
Nobody is going out there.
People shooting arrows in 2018 who don't live in the freaking woods in the backwater and something like that.
I think they can make it work.
Look, 3 things.
They got
Robin Hood movie coming out. One,
where somehow Jamie Foxx is training him.
I ain't watching that shit.
But you'll watch a Scarlet Witch movie.
Scarlet Witch movie?
Will you watch a Loki movie? A show, not movie. Show. TV show.
Loki's humorous.
Okay.
What's the third? Because I got 3 things.
3 things?
Yeah. You said
what side character series would you watch?
What side character series would I watch from these side characters? I mean, I guess it's going to be the Scarlet Witch and Vision show, and they're going to have android babies.
You're not watching Vision. You know you're not.
I know the show that I want.
It'd be super hilarious if it's a comedy and he just comes home like, honey, I'm home. Like, just wearing, when he was wearing the Argyle sweater, but he still has the
Only
Vision face.
If they have a laugh track, I'll watch that.
Listen, 3 things. 1, nobody's watching it. Not nobody. Let me not say
him just
that.
facing through the door while she's on the toilet taking a shit.
Nobody's going to sit there and say, I'm going to watch a Hawkeye series, right?
People watch Arrow every week.
Right, but how much money?
I watch it at the end of the season.
It depends
I watched all the other seasons.
It depends on how much money Marvel is going to or Disney is going to invest into this, right? Yeah, in terms of like how the production value.
You can't get a Rocket Raccoon and Groot show or a Korg show because that's going to cost too much money to do on TV. So
now the other thing is what is interesting is that as y'all were mentioning, some people will watch depending on how they do the Vision show or how they do a Scarlet Witch or whatever and stuff like that. So yeah, I get that. But my gripe is that it's interesting, once again, that Disney or Marvel Studios can get their act together and say, yo, you know what? We're going to put out side character films and shows, right? Out the rip. And Star Wars, when people have been wanting live action stories of these side characters for a millennia, even though we haven't been around for that, and got nothing. But you know what we got? A solo movie. And you know what else we're thinking about? Obi-Wan. Even though Obi-Wan's a dope character, but still.
Obi-Wan is the only one they should.
Oh, we're gonna do a Boba Fett movie. But he died in the freaking sand trap or whatever.
Where's the Mace Windu movie, son? Why don't you freaking de-age Sam Jackson again and
First
then get the Mace Windu origin Jackson because he got great skin.
Black don't crack. Okay.
Oh, but here's what I was gonna say.
They would get that gift from 24.
I want comedies. I think they should go for the tone. Remember when they were doing when they were doing the stuff for Thor, leading into Thor, of like Thor just going around, going to schools and that when he was just like writing on chalkboards and shit like that and all that stuff.
Talking about when he was having a beer and he was like, "Why didn't they call me?"
Yeah,
and all of that.
Or you could
those shorts,
I think you
shorts.
do shows where the superheroes show up, but it's their everyday life. So they're just not in costume, right? So you don't got to spend all the money to put them in the suits and stuff.
Or nothing.
Like Thor's just wearing like, you know what I'm saying, a hoodie.
And it could just be like regular comedy, like, you know, everyday situational shit.
It just blows my mind that Marvel, here we are, Marvel Studios is getting their act together, or their act has been together, and they're about to drop some like side character stories.
But to be fair,
Star Wars, they have
Jon Favreau is doing a Star Wars series for the same streaming service, and the Game of Thrones guys are doing movies for Star Wars.
They need to do a Sith series.
No, wasn't the report out from the Hollywood Reporter that they said all of that got
what got
shut down?
What got put on hold for now is the whole prequel side stories like the Solos and the Rogue Ones. But they still say that they have all those projects in development and they will come when they're ready.
Right.
So we don't know when or if Rian Johnson's series is coming, but Game of Thrones dudes are still working away on whatever they're doing, which I hope they're doing a series, but it looks like they're doing like a movie setup. What would be interesting if Star Wars wanted to do something cool is concurrently, the same way they did one saga movie and then Star Wars story movie. Right. If you did one, you gave Rian Johnson a light side trilogy, and you gave Benioff and Weiss the dark side trilogy.
Right,
and
you follow the dark side. That's what I've been screaming about.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You do it opposite years, so you get both groups. You want the young kids for Star Wars? Those are the Rian Johnson's movies. After Rian Johnson's first one come out, lead that right up with a Dark Side movie for the more adult fans, and then follow that up the next year. Sure, but I'm just saying it's a darker thing. My point
they could also do like that cartoon I was telling you about on Netflix, and do like a choose your own adventure stuff with Star Wars, and it's just like based on the decisions that you make if you go. I think a lot of stuff.
I think a lot of stuff is going to end up going that way in streaming services like
because it's just like, okay, are you going to go with this person or are you going to go with that person? Then it's just like you will veer towards the dark side by the end of that. You know, you watching
Courtney says West Coast Avengers series, and that might actually be what they're doing. If you got Scarlet Witch and maybe you bring Vision in there,
that brings me up. Well, I got something for that.
Okay,
but yes,
now
that's a good
idea. The series I want to see is a series that only includes Okoye just reacting to the dumb shit people do in the MCU.
Oh, you mean like that meme?
Yeah.
Okoye's over dramatic reactions.
I think they're all priceless, every one of them. Because she just looks so disgusted by everybody.
I need to see Mara Jade. That's what I need to see. Mara Jade get her shine. That's
okay. Has she been in any of the movies yet?
No.
Okay. Well, and I think X-Men is let's keep the ball rolling. But I think X-Men is ripe for a few TV series. Not that they don't have them already. All right. Moving on. Speaking of Fox, this topic is for Courtney. So Universal just outbid Fox to buy the remaining portion of Sky. Why is that important?
Universal or
Universal? Okay. Comcast, Universal.
Okay, I was confused.
Yeah, so Comcast owns Universal. Comcast. So Comcast
is the devil. That's the name I've learned to hate, not Universal.
So, but Comcast outbids Fox for the remaining stake in Sky, and they overpaid for it. They paid about $40 billion.
I hope they go bankrupt.
By the way,
I hope all their work bears no fruit.
This was all.
Why are you wishing such?
Let me explain why this was important.
I hope they try to work this land and none of their crops, turn over.
This is why this is important. A big reason that Disney is buying Fox was to get control of Sky.
Okay.
Now that Fox will no longer be able to acquire Sky, is Fox still as valuable as the $80 billion that Disney is paying for it? And if not, and Disney decides they want to offer less, will the shareholders accept less?
Doesn't it feel good to pay less?
That said, that could put everything in flux as far as the Comcast or Disney Fox deal. And I would argue that this was a part of Comcast's plan all along. Basically,
rub hands together like Birdman.
They drove the price up on Fox, knowing they never really wanted it, so that Disney, once the deal was done, could not come and acquire Fox because their shareholders wouldn't allow them to do 2 acquisitions. Disney was relying on Fox, who was relying on being purchased by Disney to buy Sky. Sky is important is because it gives Disney the international reach that they wanted. The purchase is not about just getting X-Men and Fantastic Four. It's about having, as you say, humans, although I would argue every company wants humans. We can't just put that on Disney.
I'm putting it all on Disney.
All I'm saying is Disney got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Know when to walk away when the deal is done. It's just like nobody asked Comcast to come with their nasty potato salad, bro. Why are they coming in here like gumming up the works? Nobody invited you. Like this deal was already done. They already shook hands on it. It's just like, okay, we good. We're gonna sell it to you for this good price, and boom. Now you want to come in here, and then you might not even get it. You gonna bankrupt yourself. You here losing money on your stock. Your stock plummeted trying to freaking keep up with the Joneses.
By the way, with their stock plummeting, if this deal goes through for $40 billion,
right,
their debt will be higher than their market cap.
It sound like they're shooting themselves in the foot. There's a long shot, but it's just that like in the long run they feel like, oh, our market share is shrinking, so we got to do something drastic. But you might, you know what I'm saying? You can't bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah. Fun fact about Disney.
I knew it was coming. Better late than never.
When the British decided to...
The British are coming.
Go into war, right, against the Germans, right, in World War II.
The Germans.
Right? The
English.
BBC, right?
BBC
TV.
One.
Okay.
Yes, right? The last show that they had on air was Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
And they, shut
Steamboat
it down
Mickey.
And went off, and there was no TV for 7 years. And the first thing that came back on when BBC came back on was Mickey Mouse.
That's not scary at all.
Google it. So yes, humans.
I think that if Disney plans all of Disney's machinations come to fruition,
right,
the last thing everyone sees before they die is a strobe light with Mickey Mouse at the center of it.
I mean, that thing that you
yeah.
No, that's...
Tell me that wasn't scary. I'll share it in the chat.
That's Caesar inducing. That's nightmare inducing. That's...
Maybe I won't share it in the chat.
That's
all right.
That's bad. That's brutal.
Moving on. So next on the list is Match Made in Heaven. Bond finally has a new director. Let's see if he stays this time.
Right.
Corey Fukunaga. Right?
True Detective.
Director.
Season 1 or 2?
He's in charge of that whole thing.
I didn't like the
1,
second
2, and
one.
3.
Colin
Farrell was in the second one. I think it was better. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was better than people gave it credit for.
I don't like that everybody died.
Spoilers.
That shit was like 4 years ago, my guy.
No. But he has came on record saying it was a while. But they got the new one coming out.
Should have seen it.
The new one's coming out, right? With what's his name? Mahershala Ali, right? But he went on record saying that he
Cottonmouth, what they call him.
He rushed the second season, and that's why the third season took so long to come out.
He said that. That's
he says
why.
That. He said he rushed it, And the studio wanted it to come out sooner, and he should have pressed back because they would have waited. Was
so good.
And so he said he's basically took his time, and the studio agreed to that because he said if I do a third season, I'm gonna put it out when it's ready. And the studio said okay, which is HBO. And so I think we're in for a treat with the next one. But what do we think about him directing Bond? And why am I going to say this is important or interesting?
I already know why, because you told me why. But I'm going to let you
But I didn't tell them why. The people.
It's all about the people.
Corey
His boy is a certain guy
also directed Beast of No Nation for Netflix. You know who that starred?
That's a really good film.
Idris Elba. Now, what if you bring in Fukunaga to do this movie, but then he does the next one with Idris Elba or something with that? If you can't bring in Idris Elba because you want to bring in, say, Henry Cavill
or somebody freaking younger, because Idris Elba getting up there in age.
How about? But he's not too old to be the villain in this Bond movie.
I don't want him to be the villain. Why he's got to be the villain?
Because I think he's gonna die. F Bond up, and they said Bond might die in this film. So maybe he comes in and kills Bond.
Oh, well, I guess.
But he would die in the
process.
No,
I think that Idris Elba would be a great villain for Daniel Craig to like psychological and physical, right? Because Bond usually has these villains that he could easily beat in a fight, but it's not that easy, right? Because they get in it's like a mental game.
They always get into his head, yeah.
So I think that Idris Elba could walk both of those lines, which is, yeah, I'm going to get in your head, but I'm also getting that ass.
Pause. Super pause.
Any thoughts? No?
Nah. I'm looking forward to it. I would want the.
By the way, there's nothing. I'm just making that up about.
Right.
Idris Elba.
This is all right. Speculation.
That's what I would like to see because with this director.
No, I don't have enough thoughts. I really like True Detective. I like the first season. The second one, not so much. But as he said,
he punched the kid in the face.
Okay, man. If he said that he rushed it. He rushed it, then okay, then that makes more sense.
You ever seen that thing on Instagram or YouTube where the dude, somebody hit his kid, so he just slapped somebody, and then he just kept slapping everybody who came up to him, like he slapped the kid. Then the mother came up, then he just slapped everybody at the damn freaking barbecue.
Everybody. No, I know what you're talking about, and that is from a TV show. It started in Australia, but they brought it to NBC called The Slap.
Yeah, that shit.
And it was a whole show designed around. They were having a dinner party. And some kid was like spoiled kid who was like 6 years old, still getting breastfed, went and slapped his son. Yeah. So he went up to the kid, slapped him, and the whole series is the court case because now they're trying to make him out like he's like a bad parent and child whatever.
Or because he slapped everybody at the barbecue.
Yeah. Because of this rude kid.
Yo, anyway, y'all feel him on that.
Before we got sidetracked, about slapping kids,
right?
You want a temporal box?
No. Let's see what he got. I just want to see the conclusion to Daniel Craig's story. So I want to see what happens with that. I want to see what Fukunaga does if he's handling that, and I want to see who's going to be the villain, because Bond does need a dope villain to go against when they're doing these type of movies. So we'll see what happens.
All right, now moving on. Here's the interesting stuff. The first footage.
Why don't they call the next Bond something like quadro titties since they made Octopussy?
Okay, so the first footage of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was released this weekend. We got some video clips of him walking on the street. We got some promo stuff from the studio, and we got a scene of him being in the Bronx on the 4 train
on Bedford Park Boulevard. That's the stop before 205th.
What do we think about that one? What do we think about this incarnation of the Joker? And will it confuse people with Jared Leto's Joker?
No, because it's in the freaking 80s. That's why it won't. And there's no way that, he would be super old now. He'd be 70 now. So it can't. It's two different Jokers.
That's almost why I'm kind of upset about it, right?
Because if it's good, it's just I want more of that, and you can't get it.
Right.
Yeah, there's a gift and curse with this happening, because you're doing these one-offs, but it's going to demand you have a cross or a confrontation of some kind, or at least a crossing of paths with him and Batman, or Bruce Wayne, or the parents, or something.
Well, it's Thomas Wayne, right?
So yeah, but even that, just that little seed, you're going to want more, and then that shows a certain what is the age range, because if Joker is are we saying he's in his 30s? Are we saying he's in his 40s and stuff like that? By the time Batman comes around, right, and he comes of age and he's fighting the Joker, you're not thinking that deep into it, but you're gonna think that deep into it.
If anybody didn't notice, it's just like if you've seen the still shots of it, Thomas Wayne is running for mayor.
Yeah,
and then it's just there like, I guess Joker's running for mayor too or something like that,
which is just dope. And I kind of see it as a play on the whole Trump thing.
People are there attacking Thomas Wayne in the train. They're like, he's on the ground laying in there like over him, like trying to.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even catch that. I saw the sign in the back that says "Blame Wayne."
Yeah.
But that whole thing of him making the city go mad with him, super dope. The Joker is just like the most interesting comic book character maybe ever, just because aside from Jared Leto, right? We've just got all of these great actors giving completely different takes on the character.
You're not showing love to Jared Leto?
Jared Leto's the worst?
I mean, come on.
You're not showing love to Jared Leto?
Romero?
Cesar Romero's dope. Don't disrespect Cesar Romero.
I didn't say he was. I'm asking you where you put him.
I mean, I put him above Jared Leto.
Jared Leto's the worst one. I mean, the grills is just like killed it. The tattoos, he didn't have to have a damaged tattoo on his forehead. And the fact that he didn't even have a smile
Mark
at
Hamill
all.
was a better Joker than what
you mean.
Mark
The animated?
Hamill was probably the second best Joker.
One of the best Jokers.
Top 3, easily.
Yes, sir.
But
even Kevin Conroy is top 3 Batman.
Who's the top Batman?
Top Batman. Keaton.
You put Keaton over
Adam West. And then
Christian Bale?
No, then Christian Conroy.
So
Kevin
Christian
Conroy.
Bale don't even make the top 3 for you.
Top 3? No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm not wearing hockey pads. No.
Okay. So would you call all of us excited?
Yes. I jumped the gun before, but when I was breaking down like how Yabi was talking about the soundtrack, the music for that was just so genius.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I texted you the picture and you was like thumbs down, like
No.
Definitely on blast.
You was like, I don't like it at all. But then
I didn't like it at first.
And then I showed you the video. I was like, nigga, look at this shit. And he was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then
what really was the nail in the coffin though was the Bedford Park scene.
Yeah, he was like, oh, in the Bronx, they're in the BX. Okay, throw it up.
They already won. And I was thinking about this, and I was like, you know what? Let's give ourselves some credit here, right? Because sometimes you think that like, okay, I wonder like because the MCU has given us so much good stuff, and are we just like, can DC do anything good? Like, because you know how your perception of a thing can just be tainted by what came before, and you have expectations of something being bad. Like for example, Venom. I have no expectations for Venom.
I expect that shit to be trash.
Yeah, right? Black Goop is gonna be dope.
Okay, so my point is. Which, by the way, comes out next week.
I'm going into it expecting it to be horrible. So if it's just okay, then it's good.
Then it
works. You know what I'm saying?
But
my expectations are so low. Like, it doesn't have high to jump. So if it's just decent, it's like, okay, it was a good movie.
My point is, I think that it's not us being biased, right? It's just some movies are whack, and the ones that's good, they get our attention. Because I'm completely willing to throw out the last couple of bricks
Jared Leto,
that DC did for this movie. I'm all here for this.
Joaquin Phoenix, I think this might be the best film ever, or one of the best films DC has put out. Even though it's not part of the DCEU, it's going to be the best one they put out.
Kind of sucks that it's
and
not,
he's
though.
never coming back after he does this one. Like
he's just like one.
He might die at the end.
He's just like, yo, I'm a freaking Heath Ledger this shit all over it, and then that's it. You get it once.
But that got to be pressure. I mean, he's a top class actor, but that got to be pressure. Like you got to go in behind Heath Ledger.
My dude, from what I've seen, he got it. He got this.
So then, what was Jared Leto doing when he had to go in behind?
I think
he was taking craps in garbage bags and leaving them at their
condoms and dead rats.
Yeah. You know,
well, at least it made for a good performance, right?
Yo, hold on. Is Black Goop going to do more numbers than Justice League?
Funny story. It could, because it's looking at believe it or not, a $75 million opening weekend, which is crazy.
Black
and they're
Goop,
opening
baby.
the same weekend as the same day as Comic-Con New York.
Black Goop.
Everybody
and Tom
at
Holland
Comic-Con
is not even
going
going
to
to be in it.
Not even going to be in it.
It doesn't matter. Venom is a big enough name that
is it
he?
General audience though? The comic book audience is huge.
No,
the comic book
for the
audience
comic
is huge,
book audience,
and the comic book audience is the ones going to see this movie.
I know, but the comic book audience and the comic book movie audiences are two different audiences.
The comic book audience is going to see this.
Yeah, but I'm saying, are they big enough? Because these movies make so much money because the general audience goes.
Exactly.
I don't know what's going to happen after the first week. I know it's going to do numbers the first week, though. It's going to be a 60, 70% drop off the second week. If it's terrible and word of mouth is just like that shit is shocked. But if word of mouth is good, then 50% drop.
Everybody go see Black Goop.
So, but moral of the story is this Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie looks dope.
It looks genius, bro.
But it cannot save the DCEU because it's not a part of it.
But I think they should just do more one-off movies.
What I was hoping...
Do a what you call a movie, a Red Hood movie.
And my theory,
Remember
my theory from
But it has to be violent.
Yeah.
My theory from a few weeks back.
Do more rated R movies.
Which was maybe they were
the Batman who laughs
into the 80s since Wonder Woman is in 84.
Right.
This takes place in the 80s.
Shit.
Batman is going to be a younger origin story.
Blackest Day,
right?
Darkest Night.
Right.
That's the thing. Where everybody went bad.
Maybe we just say forget everything that happened in the DCFU and Wonder Woman's a soft reboot, and you just say that Shazam takes place in the 80s. Why not? There's nothing in there that says it doesn't.
Yeah. Just do your own one-off
Oh, by the
movies.
way, also coming out the same week as Bumblebee and Aquaman is
bro.
Alita Battle Angel, you said that already.
But I didn't say Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So,
yo, man. Aqua, bro, I feel bad for you, bro. Your number's finna be low.
I kind of think that's why Disney
Is this on Netflix?
Yo, all I'm going to say to Jason Momoa, I like you, but grand opening, grand closing. That's it.
It's rough, man.
Damn.
That's it, bro.
It's hard.
Because the whole future
of
the whole future of any type of DC extended universe
lies on
Aqua, bro. So shit.
They should have moved it. Why not put it in October? Nothing.
Black Goop.
Come on. And really, the movie to beat in October though is gonna be Jason. Or Halloween.
Halloween is coming out.
Yeah.
I didn't see any promos for that.
No. It looks crazy. They're bringing it back. They're skipping everything. So this is basically Halloween too.
But let's move along. Joaquin Phoenix, I'm here for it.
Black Goop.
And you're here for Black Goop. All right. What do you think about this? Netflix is doing a live action Avatar: The Last Airbender series. Done by, the showrunners are the same showrunners as the cartoon. Meaning not M. Night Shyamalan.
Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yes.
A TV show, live action.
On Netflix. Yes.
A lot of people like that animated show.
I'm going to just say this.
A lot of people hate that live action movie.
I never watched.
A lot of people hated that live action movie.
I've seen 1 or 2 episodes of the actual cartoon.
Right.
I've seen bits and pieces of the movie, but from what I've seen bits and pieces, it was terrible. I was just there like, yeah, I'm good.
The live action or the
live action movie?
Oh, no. Hot, moldy,
No. Yeah, live action movie.
110-degree garbage.
Trash.
But like
the animated series, a lot of people really enjoy.
Can it be pulled off in a series where you have more time to develop the characters?
It depends on the budget that they have.
And is it gonna have?
I don't watch like foreign cartoons. Like I wasn't even that big into Dragon Ball. I mean, I know all the characters, the core characters, but I wasn't like how people were super into it. I'm not into it like that. I
almost called you a son of a bitch, but we have the same mother.
Boy, watch your tone. I don't know all the Dragon Ball folklore. I mean, I haven't really watched it since like high school.
So your hands started twitching like...
I mean, have you been keeping up with it? Do you know
I haven't seen one episode of Dragon Ball Super.
All of that?
Dragon Ball
Super.
Super.
You're not into it like that either.
Yeah, but you didn't watch it. You didn't watch them when you were younger.
I did. I mean, I know the Broly movie.
I don't know about Avatar: The Airbender like that.
Yeah, I saw this. I'm gonna see that.
Time,
you want to know why? Because it's gonna be in English. Because I don't like reading subtitles. I'm lazy.
That time I was watching Naruto. Naruto was taking up a lot of my life.
Like I started watching Dragon Ball when they started putting it on Toonami because, like I said, I don't like reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't do subtitles, bro.
Okay.
Because it takes your eyes away from the action.
All right, so
you can't tell me nothing about Naruto.
I've never seen one episode of that.
It's okay. But
that's the dude who wears the headband, right?
Legend of Korra is the...
And then it went into Shippuden. And now it's on Boruto. So, yeah.
I don't know none of that.
I know.
But Legend of Korra is the follow-up.
Of course. Legend of
Korra is the follow-up to Avatar: The Last Airbender, filling out some of the lore.
Right.
People who watch this show will tell you it is basically the level of world building is that of Game of Thrones.
Right. That's the response that people have.
And a lot of people call it one of the greatest long form television stories ever told.
Right.
The way the characters and the different tribes and the politics and the economy of the whole thing is built out. So if you are into like world building and being transported to someplace else,
right, this one works.
That's the show to watch. I don't know if they can do it live action. I will reserve my judgment on this. Maybe let's see if they can bring The Witcher to life.
Depends on the budget.
They're giving it a big budget, at least. Anyways, set to come out in 2020. So I say let's watch The Witcher, see if that's a brick or not, and then try to judge what happens.
Isn't Cavill out?
We're getting it.
I need to get my anime stuff.
But speaking of Avatar and The Witcher. If they do an Avatar show, if they do it like Marco Polo,
right,
but add a little bit of special effects in there, because that was a super expensive show. But if the kung fu was like at that level and the world building, I could.
We're working with something.
Yeah,
right.
And that's what gives me hope about this. Watching Marco Polo.
Okay.
All right. Now moving on to our last news topic. Cavill Out. The Hollywood Reporter reported last week that Henry Cavill will no longer be playing Superman, and Warner Brothers has decided to move forward on not a Superman movie, but a Supergirl movie.
Oh, so they are serious about the Supergirl movie?
They claim.
Nobody asked for that.
Now,
shit.
Here's the thing.
Nobody wants it.
Here's the thing. One could say, they're just trying to grasp at straws. The most successful thing they ever did was Wonder Woman.
Oh, they're going to learn. I hope they put it out and then they realize that huge error of their ways. And then somebody gets fired.
And again,
go ahead, put that shit out.
Why are you wishing for people to lose their jobs?
They want to make dumb decisions. You should lose your job.
They have the Supergirl
You're consistently
TV
making dumb shit,
right?
Except for this freaking Joker shit. And bunch of bricks.
And then they brought out
Aquabro.
They brought out Superman in the Supergirl show. They brought out Superman in the Supergirl show to lose to Supergirl. And she says, "Oh, you were holding back, weren't you?" And he says, "No, I was going full power." Like, you just had him come to her show just to be a clown. Like, we're going to bring in Superman to the Arrowverse for the first time to be a clown and get beat by Supergirl. Right? And then, almost 10 years later, there's still no Man of Steel 2 movie.
Nope.
You did everything you could not to do a Man of Steel movie.
Yep.
Like, cast this dude as Lex Luthor.
Yep.
Force Batman in. Bring in a Justice League with a fake smile.
There we go.
Instead of what people wanted, which was a Man of Steel 2. And now your answer is, well, let's just give him Supergirl. What? Like, you have the most popular superhero ever created.
He is the best representation of Superman we have got. Even though I may not have liked what they have done with him, with the scripts and shit like that, I still like Henry Cavill as Superman, and I think that he could make a great Superman movie if given the chance and the materials to work with.
Reeves was the best Clark Kent, and Henry Cavill was the best Superman.
Just because of the stuff of technology, of what they can do with Superman.
More importantly, Henry Cavill is not a deadbeat dad.
What about Roth?
Who was a deadbeat dad?
Brandon Roth was deadbeat dad.
Brandon Roth. There we go.
He left his kid because he came back in Superman Returns.
And then he got stuck up the bum with kryptonite.
Or with something else, knowing Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey likes to get a little frisky with them,
Yo, was Kevin Spacey saying, like, reading the script, he's like, yo, wait, hold on. Okay, I don't think I should stab him.
No. Oh, you want me to stab him in the stomach? No, hold on. I got this.
Do it, improv.
Yeah, that's bad. Vaseline all over that shit.
That's bad. All right.
God.
That's all right.
In hindsight,
right.
I don't think he actually stabbed him in the back.
Nope.
Because that's...
It definitely wasn't the bat.
Oh,
Buckwheat.
Okay.
Buckwheat.
Kevin Spacey thought of that.
Fire for that.
Okay.
All right,
All
come
right.
on.
So, anyways, I think the current people in charge at Warner Brothers fundamentally do not understand Superman and have no idea what to do with
Brandon
him.
Ross really got to feel this one, all right? When I
you want to leave your kid, huh?
I mean, from what I gather, Brandon Roth likes that type of thing.
Easy. Okay. So what do we think? Like, is this who? Like, I'm gonna get to who should replace Superman later, but now we should also add this may be hardball contract negotiation, because it was also reported that Warner Brothers wanted Henry Cavill to come in and
do a cameo in Shazam and cameo in
Yeah,
Supergirl.
but I thought it was contract. I mean, not contract. It was schedule.
He's like, nah.
Well, he says it's
scheduling
scheduling issues, but really it's a money thing, right? Okay. And it's time for him to re-up his contract because his contract is done. And so,
I get where Henry Cavill was coming from, but if they're coming off a brick, they can't pay you more money. They're just like, okay, we're gonna pay you what we've been paying you, and if the next one does money, then after that. But they're coming off a couple bricks.
No.
It's like they're unsure of this thing, so you can't say I want top dollar and the shit might flop again.
Here's the thing, though.
Well, Cavill has to do what he has to do to try and secure as much of the bag that he can. Right, exactly.
He was just like, yo, I've been playing
worth it
for the minimum, and I'm trying to max out on my contract. He's like, the same thing as the NBA. Like, I've been taking less, you know what I'm saying? But now that y'all made money, I want the max contract.
So there's two things that I'll add to this. On you guys' point, because I think there's something different going on here. On you guys' point, for Cavill to take less, they want to sign him for a multi-pitcher deal.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So you cannot tell me I'll just take less, because if we're going with the lower rate, that's going to be your rate for the next 3 to 6 movies.
But all he needs to do is negotiate something off the back end, bro.
Now, the other part
that says if the movie makes this much, then you get such and such off the back end.
I think something else is happening.
Which is?
I think Henry Cavill's star is rising. He is the front runner to replace
Bond.
Potentially.
Potentially.
Right.
I mean, he's on the short list, right?
Right.
Besides him and Idris.
Right. He just got, but they would probably go with him. Just because.
Now there's The Witcher.
Now there's The Witcher.
We're in right now, they might just go with
one of the most popular movies in the world.
Because everybody's trying to be like, we down with the cause. You know, the Nike thing? They was like,
but they're old money British people that have those rights. They might not care about that.
Right.
We'll see. I'll bet money on it.
I mean, I hope they do it. But my point is, his star is rising, and being in bad DC movie after bad DC movie is putting a stink on his name.
Yeah.
Right? So what actors often do when they don't want to do a movie, but they're kind of contractually obligated and they don't want it to come out that they quit, they'll just, I'm going to ask for a number I know you can't do.
Just so you can just push me out.
Exactly. Right? Because it's going to look bad if he walks away.
Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin to write the next damn movie. Not direct it, but write that shit.
I seriously think
I would be all for that.
I think that if you're going to have for me, like we said, we all in agreement that he's the best. Like, all right, he's the face of Superman, modern take on Superman. So, out of all the characters that they have, they're getting
one more thing.
Go ahead, sure.
On top of, I think part of the reason, and people don't want to recognize this, Superman is, people talk about, oh, he's emo, he's this, he's that. Superman is a representation of where we are now, because everybody's emo. This is in the world of Drake, right? And everybody like being self-obsessed and sad about things. And I just think Superman is a reflection of us, and that's what that Superman represented.
Well, I think they went hard to make him like more like Uber Jesus and stuff like that.
And, that's a Zack Snyder thing.
But all I'm saying is that like Superman and what Superman should have been, or how he should have been moving forward, even though you're saying like, yo, we're getting rid of this character, they're getting rid of that person, they're getting rid of this actor, he could have been the mainstay and the character that, like, he's consistent, right? Superman is the person that's the familiar face you have in all of this. And then everybody else is interchangeable. You know, so you have your Supergirl movie, you have your Shazam movie, you have your Green Lantern movie, and you still have that familiar face of Henry Cavill as Superman. But Instead, you don't give us a Man of Steel 2. You just give him these, stupid situations where he's brooding, and now you're like, maybe we'll put you in Shazam, or you know what? Let's just do a Supergirl movie, and either you're there or you're not, but we're moving forward. Get out of here.
But some people are saying the Supergirl movie and the whole leaking this to the Hollywood Reporter was also a part of the contract negotiations. It was like, no, we're not giving you that much money, and we'll leak this. They're like, yo, you could be replaced. And they never had plans for a Supergirl movie. It was just like, look, we could do something super without you.
Right. It's like, you better get down and lay down. You better take this money.
Courtney asks, was Upgrade trolling M. Night? I don't see how. I think Upgrade was trolling Venom, because Upgrade is probably a good version of what Venom's going to be. And then Miss Baldiaki asks, she says she does want it. I don't know what it is, but I'll take it. Okay, so I'm just putting that out there. Anything? Has everybody seen Upgrade? Is it just me?
No, I haven't seen
that's
Upgrade
that yet. Like Venom type movie you're telling me to see, right? No, I haven't seen it.
Do you think it was trolling M. Night Shyamalan? Okay. Do you know who M. Night Shyamalan is?
That's the dude who directed Sixth Sense and The Village and a bunch of other trash.
Okay. This guy,
guy
knows his stuff.
Look at him dropping some knowledge over there.
All right. Well, Courtney, get back to us with that. Now,
super side note, that has nothing to do with nothing. No man should ever drink out of a straw. It's a bad look.
It's definitely not cool.
Yeah. I'll never do it again.
Drink out of a straw.
Yeah. Also, okay, we can make a list of those things. Can't have a lollipop either.
Can't have lollipop. Can't eat bananas without freaking mashing that shit up or cutting it up into little pieces.
What's happening now? Is this in movies, or we're just talking about?
No, these are just
patriarchy. Have you seen this? This is just a total sidetrack, but have you seen this?
Okay. Why don't you show me that after the show? Okay. Now, moving on to the focal point. So, in light of the recent Witcher, Bond, and Superman casting controversy, and by Superman, we didn't talk about this, but it sort of segues here, is that they were talking about Michael B. Jordan replacing Henry Cavill as Superman.
No.
That phone out of here,
okay, bro. Now, the
even
question is...
Even though he shouldn't replace him, but there's an Earth 23 Superman who is black. There's other Supermen.
Yeah.
There's not just one Superman.
And that picture's
there's also
on the
Steel. Shout out to Shaq. There's other black Supermen, just like how there's black Green Lanterns.
Right, Man of Steel.
But he cannot be Clark Kent. He could be a Superman. You could make a Superman movie that stars him, but he will not be Clark Kent. And just be clear that it's Earth 23 Superman. Just like how they do in these one-offs, do that.
Okay, now
I'm all for that. But he ain't Clark Kent.
My question is, when, if ever, is it okay to change the race of a character in a fictional story, and why do people get so riled up about these things? Who wants to go first?
They do it all the time with Jesus. They do it with real life people, so why can't they do it with fictional characters? They did it with Jesus. They did it with Moses. They did it with all the people in Egypt. I mean, shit, the only person who ever represented Egyptians as blacks is Michael Jackson. So, I mean, it's fair game.
So,
especially with fictional characters, especially if the fictional character is an alien. It's not like, say, okay, this character is white.
Let's be clear. Like, Superman is not white. He is an alien.
He's an alien.
Right, but there's an association, right? It's associated, like, oh man, well, look at his skin color or something like that.
Yeah, right, but it doesn't have to be, right? He's an alien.
Nah, but Clark Kent
could be green.
Clark Kent is white, man. It's just like he's a white alien. That's it. Like I said, Earth 23 Superman is black. That's not to say that there's no Kryptonians who are black. There's Kryptonians who's black. You feel me? But Clark Kent ain't black.
Why?
Because he ain't never been that. It's different with James Bond to me, because James Bond is a code name. That's different. So anybody, James Bond could be Asian. James Bond could be a freaking, you know what I'm saying, a woman.
What about Johnny Storm?
Johnny Storm? Or how they did that in the adoption?
Yeah,
but those aren't like major characters, and they're part of an ensemble.
Was Goliath always black in the comics?
Black Goliath. His name was Black Goliath.
Okay.
Black.
Why do the comics always do that? Every black character is black something.
You know why.
Okay. I do know why.
Yeah.
Please continue.
All I'm saying is, to me, with James Bond, it don't matter because
Black
like I said,
Peter
it's
Parker.
An agent.
Could you take it?
Who?
Could you take a Black Peter Parker? I know we got Miles Morales. But before we had Miles Morales, could you take a Black Peter Parker? No.
I don't want that because it's always been that. But if it's just like, say, a B character, then I don't really care. Like, because Nick Fury is like not like a main character. He's known, but he's not like a main character. He's part of an ensemble, so it doesn't matter what color he is because he's part of an ensemble.
So you don't prefer the David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury?
No, not at all. It's just like if you play the role good, but if it's like a main character and that character has been established to be a certain whatever ethnicity or they resemble a certain ethnicity, then leave it that way. But if it's like, side characters, it's fair play.
Right. I think part of it, we've been like conditioned to think like that though. Like, you know what I mean?
That's the real thing that I was coming to.
Because I definitely, I understand where you're coming from, that we like, there's certain characters.
Do you want to see them reboot Seinfeld and call it Black Seinfeld?
Why does it have to be Black Seinfeld? Like, why can't
we just... Because black.
I mean,
you have to put black on everything.
No, I mean, well, before there was Friends, there was Living Single, and then Friends got like their idea from Living Single.
There was Girlfriends before, Sex and the City.
And I mean, isn't like Blackish basically Seinfeld? The premise of like...
I wouldn't go that far, but then again, I can't say that I'm educated enough in Blackish episodes to say that.
I've never watched Blackish.
Courtney says if you could do Tom Cruise as the Last Samurai, you could do a black Superman.
Hey man, the last of the Mohicans was a white dude. The last Mexican was a white dude.
Right. So it's that, but it's that.
The Mexican was Brad Pitt.
Yeah, it's like it's that. Yeah, but that's we're conditioned, right? We're conditioned to think like that, where there's this kind of savior complex that's with only exclusive to the dominant society, right? Versus like black society, we can in some aspects see ourselves as these representations, but we put these asterisks to it, like, oh, I don't know if it's this or it's that, like or it's this, but we've been conditioned, so
I'm not cool when they take somebody like a Moses or a Jesus who is of color,
right?
Not necessarily African or whatever, but of color, and then you whitewash everything. I'm not cool with that.
But it happens continuously.
So it's just like, it's fair play.
Like Scarlett Johansson did that shit like 5 times.
Right. So I'm saying, but when go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying it's fair play. But to me, like main characters, they should be whatever. So I feel that these characters should be black. I didn't go see Gods of Egypt because I was like, why ain't nobody black in that?
That was just disrespect. Yeah. Like they went out of their way with that one.
Like everybody in there is white. All the gods of Egypt are white people.
Right.
Like how?
Right.
Like y'all got the Greeks, right? You got to you can't just leave set who set's supposed to be.
No. No, you take it off.
That bothers me. But like I said,
Courtney says Al Pacino is a Cuban Scarface.
It bothers me both ways.
Now, so were the people who were mad about and they were wrong they were riled up by a rumor. The people who were mad about The Witcher potentially casting Ciri as a person of color, were those Polish people? She's of mixed
ethnicity.
Those Polish people and just like,
but people she's like who an elf mad. Or something, right?
No. She's actually not an elf. She is a Polish born and raised. The character.
Yeah, she has like white hair. She's a white girl with white hair.
Yeah, with pale skin with ashen hair.
Yeah.
So people were saying
in the book she said she's white.
Like, if you make her a person of color, you have to change her whole lineage. Right. Because she comes from a royal family. Right. And the different races in the Witcher book are from different parts of the world. Right. So changing her race means that she would have to be from another part of the world, or you're saying her whole family is of mixed different races. So, people were upset about that.
Yeah. I don't put too much stock in that shit because I don't play that shit, and it's a fucking video game.
Well, it's actually based on a series of books.
Yeah.
the games.
Most people know it from a video game.
Also true.
I think it really comes from. Part of it is because we don't know what is if it's generated from a genuine place, which we don't know, right? Where it's like, look, I just kind of want to keep this as true to form as possible, right? Okay, granted, you have the opinion to say something like that, and it's no problem. But these things are always coded, which we can't decode.
Oh, Craig's watching us. What up, Craig?
What up? You know, it's we can't decode if the person's intention is where it's this racial pushback where we don't want to see, anybody who doesn't look like, they got to stay like this. They got to stay white, blah, 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 blah. And so people get so up in arms, as I said, because they're so used to seeing people who look like them, right? When representation does matter. We've said that tons and tons of times, right? So that's why I say it's like we have to kind of take those chains off of our brain and off of our mind, because we've been conditioned to see only certain characters a certain way. Like you can't see a story of a storyline of a black boy who's the son of a multi-billionaire, right? Well, how did he get his money? In the entertainment industry. Why it can't be from the oil tycoon, or why it can't be from, stocks and trade and something like that, right? So for us, maybe we can visualize that, but not everyone can, because we immediately associate, his father was an athlete. But any other person, you can picture them in multitudes of his family had money, his family was a royal prince, his family was etc. The list goes on and on and on. But when it comes to American black folk, it's only cornered in one center of society. Am I making sense?
Yeah, no. And I'll say this, because there are people that complain about these changes, so on the one side there is casting a traditionally white character,
right,
as a person of color, or casting a traditionally male character as a female, and people see that and they get upset because sometimes it is they are traditionalists. But the other thing is you really don't know, because coded in that is a deeper sort of political agenda, right? And what they will do is say, I don't want my fantasy or my stories interjected with politics. But even in saying that and being angry, what you mean is you don't want it to not have your politics. Right? And so sometimes people will see these changes and they are looking at it as an attack on them personally, because they feel like they are losing power in this society. Now, then there's the other side of it. The people that say, well, you know what? I don't want a black Peter Parker. I don't want a black Bruce Wayne, right? Give me another character, right? Don't make Hal Jordan black. Just give me Jon Stewart, right? But why is that? What is it about some of these characters that inherently make them white or black? Like Black Panther can never be a white guy because
Batman can never be a black guy.
But why?
Because Batman's superpower is white privilege. A black man can't go around beating up.
I don't.
A black man can't go around beating up people and get away with that shit, or taking the law into his own hands. That's what white people do. Shout out to George Zimmerman.
Courtney says has to be tech.
Well, he ain't white though.
Needs to be new money. People can't wrap their minds around old money and black people unless we're Benson.
Let me say this stuff right now. The black dollar spends just the same way as everybody else's dollar, and I think that we are being represented more, and we are being recognized more, and that we are great at what we do. It's not even part of the topics, but like black people seem to have swept the Emmys, the past Emmys. We didn't talk about that. Tiffany Haddish won, freaking Cat Williams won, Samira Wiley, Ron Cephas Jones, Keenan.
Who's won his getting ready to leave SNL
after being there for 15 years, won his first Emmy ever. It's just they're recognizing us,
But then you have those people that argue
Black Panther might get nominated.
They have those people that argue that they're just doing that for the sake of representation. I don't believe that, but that's what
John
people
Legend won too.
Say, right?
Oh,
they're
let's not forget Regina
King.
Did you see Regina King winning?
I didn't see her win, but I heard she won.
Did not
and she should have been one because she's been putting in work for years.
Been putting in work since 227.
That's the Susan Lucci.
But she was just so shocked that she won. But they're recognizing us, bro.
But so the point is this: you have to look at what percentage of our dollars are getting spent at the theater. Right. So like we're 13% of the population, but I don't know what percentage. Maybe we're 15-20% of the movie going.
We're like 70% of the entertainment of this damn country. So when it comes to sports and like singing and dancing and all of that stuff.
Yeah, by design.
So my point is,
we are the text makers. We the ones who decide what's hot, what's people what's fly, what's the latest styles. We decide all of that.
If our dollars are X%,
we make up slang everything.
If our dollars are X% of whatever is spent in these mediums, and it doesn't just go for black people, right? For women, for the LGBTQ community, whatever percentage of dollars are spent on their stuff, then that's the percentage that we should see that those people should be able to see themselves.
You mean like catered to?
Yes. Why not? And if society, the problem is this: society has been catered towards one group, and everyone else has been made to have to fit into that group. Where when I say society, I mean society too, but we're talking about entertainment. So entertainment has been geared around the 18 to 34-year-old white man, right? Now, and everything else has had to mold itself into that.
You mean white male demographic?
Yes, right. And now that Hollywood and entertainment is going after a broader demographic, it is not an attack on you. And if you see it as such, it is only because the whole world has catered to you before. But now the world is saying, hey, we are going to cater to more people.
Right.
And again, it's not necessarily a social justice warrior thing. It's more of a business thing.
It's just business
because more people of color around the world are gaining more disposable income so they can spend it on entertainment. So Hollywood now wants to make money, and they want to cater to those people. This is the same thing Marvel is doing. This is why Marvel is replacing all of their traditionally white male characters with either women or people of color or people of different ethnic, racial, and sexual orientation backgrounds, because they know 10, 20 years from now, when the sort of white man's dollar is not going to be as strong as, say, the Chinese dollar or whatever else, other people that they are going to spend money. So they're basically testing them out in the comic books now so that they can roll them out into movies later.
Right.
And again, that is not because it's the same thing with Nike. It's not because they're trying to do the right thing. They're looking where the money's going. You don't look where the money is at. You look at where it's going to be.
Right. So you better do the right thing like Spike Lee.
So I say all of that to say a lot of times people are putting their own politics into these things. It is not the politics of the people making the movie.
Well, they can't see beyond their own hand.
Right. So now... and
that's by design.
Courtney says now that Marvel has X-Men, they don't have X-Men yet. And that might change because of this whole Sky thing.
Gotta be quicker than that.
Will we see Spider-Man and Super Friends with a gay Iceman? It could happen.
Iceman is not gay. He's banging Kitty Pryde, okay?
At the moment.
Even though Colossus is the one who's supposed to be slapping up her tanks. But that's neither here nor there.
Listen, I am telling you right now, we are going to get a gay superhero movie. It's going to happen.
It's super happening.
Yeah, it's cool.
What you call it is Shatterstar's wild gay.
No problem.
But I'm saying as a lead.
Yeah, it's such a rare question.
It'll happen, and I hope it does well. Now,
shout out to the maggots.
Courtney says
they could turn Iceman black. That'll be dope.
Courtney says Iceman is gay in the comics.
He wasn't always gay.
He wasn't. You're exactly right about that. They just changed that.
Like Shatterstar didn't start out gay either.
Nope.
It's just like they just started doing shit for inclusion because it's just they got to pander. Just like how they have Miss Marvel is like a Muslim.
But why does it have to be pandering?
There's a Chinese Hulk now.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm saying, like,
everybody spend money. Yes, yeah, everybody spends money, so it's like you got to have everybody represented.
I think so. Yeah. If you're gonna take their money, then you should represent them in
Before,
in the art that
everybody
you do.
was white except for Storm and Black Panther and Luke Cage. Everybody else is white.
Right.
On Falcon
and Black Lightning
and Jubilee.
Yeah, she's Asian.
Right. A lot of people didn't know that though.
Dominant society,
right? So my point
90% of everybody's white.
So why not? If you taking everybody's money, then represent everybody in your movies. And again,
Forge wasn't white.
Again, another thing to note: these things are designed for mass audiences, right? So I'm not telling you to take your artistic thing and change it around for the sake of inclusion. Right. You are making this thing to include everybody in the first place. So you should represent everybody.
They should do that Chinese Hulk movie, and it would make gangbusters in China.
All right.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that would. I didn't know that he was
to
Chinese.
The final topic, which
that makes stupid
have him
money.
Be like a Bruce Lee lookalike and have him doing kung fu and stuff.
No, he's just not. What's his name in the comics? I can't.
Chinese.
I can't remember his name. Yeah, I can't remember his name. I don't know. Anyways, I don't. He might not be Chinese either. He could be Korean. Asian. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So moving on. What would you do? This is the last topic of the day, folks.
I was gonna say something blatantly stereotypical.
Who would you all cast for?
Thank goodness.
Who would you all cast as the following characters? Who should replace Henry Cavill in the DCEU as Superman? And who would you like to see Henry Cavill play?
Oh, he's Korean American.
See, I told you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who would you like to see Cavill play if he goes to the MCU?
Who would Cavill play if he went to the MCU?
Yeah.
This happened in 2015. This is ultra.
Yeah. Okay, who do you want to see replace Henry Cavill as Superman? Who could do it?
Henry Cavill. That's it. Nobody. It's Henry Cavill or nothing. Or your DC is done. I'll see these one-off movies.
Brandon
Roth. Far as I was gonna say that too because I thought it would be funny, but I was
beat you to the punch.
Yeah.
Oh, we just bring back Dean Cain.
Yeah.
You can start the movie off with him pulling the dildo out.
Okay. Okay. Stop it. Okay. Anybody for
no, you
for
can
Superman.
save it. No, I don't. I can't think of anyone to replace this guy.
Henry Cavill as Superman. No. How about what you call it, son? What's his name?
Who?
Clint Eastwood's son.
He's too short.
Is he?
What about Armie Hammer?
I could see Armie Hammer, but I don't know if he's in shape enough to do that.
What's crazy is a lot of people are short, but if you put them around other short people, they don't look so short.
Listen, if you get a short Batman, you can make it work. Although Wonder Woman's gonna make them all look short. See, right there.
What you call it? The first Batman. Michael Keaton. He was short as hell.
I know, but he didn't have to stand next to Wonder Woman.
Rocky played a heavyweight champ, and Rocky is like short as hell. Sylvester Stallone is short as F. There's no way that he could be a heavyweight champ. And like all of these people, like Mr. T is short as hell, but you didn't notice how short he was until he stood next to Hulk Hogan. Just like if you stand people next to short people, they look tall.
Okay.
I don't.
All right.
But I know where Henry Cavill can be in Marvel. I have that.
Okay. Henry Cavill in the MCU. You go first since you brought it up.
So the only characters that came to my mind when we were talking about this was U.S. agent. Well, yeah, I mean, but
he already got the lasers in his eyes,
Captain Britain,
so that works.
U.S. agent. You talking about from Excalibur?
Yeah.
If they're going with that movie, then I can see that. But if they're not doing anything with Excalibur whatsoever, then it's just U.S. agent, Wonder Man.
Okay.
Right. Silver Surfer.
That's interesting.
Or Exodus.
Okay.
Who was Magneto's right-hand man, and he tried to kill Magneto because he was a zealot. But that's what I could see.
Who do you got?
He could be the new Magneto.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no on that one. I could picture him as Cyclops, but because Disney does not have Fox yet, I'm gonna go with Adam Warlock.
Not bad. Impressive. Yeah. But the only reason why I can't, because Adam Warlock is already coming out.
Yeah, right? But it doesn't matter, right? We don't know what he looks like yet. He's not in the movie, and Guardians 3 might not even happen.
Adam Warlock, impressive. So he goes from being one of the most powerful beings in the DCEU and becoming one of the most powerful beings in the MCU.
Yeah.
Or just make him Namor.
That'll work.
That's good. That's
kind of messed up. That's like a real punch in the face that he's going against.
To do Marvel's equivalent of Aquabro.
Yeah.
What now? Here's what would be interesting.
He would super be a good Namor. I could see it.
Not that he should ever sully himself with this.
Not with the just the green speedo and the wings on his ankles. No.
No, you wouldn't have him with that.
Right.
It have to be some type of updated
costume. Like green pants or something like that or whatever.
Now,
green sequin pants.
Who would I like to see play? Who would I like to see play Superman?
See him go against T'Challa.
Who would I like to see replace Henry Cavill? He would never do this, and I wouldn't advise him unless DC got their act together. Okay. Right?
And they gave him this
means hit after hit in the vein of.
Oh God! I know what you're gonna wait.
Listen to me. In the vein of what they're doing with the Joker, and hopefully the next Batman is good, and the next Wonder Woman is good. So DC has to be back on track for him to do this. But to replace Henry Cavill, I would go with Chris Evans.
As Superman?
Yeah.
Does he really want to do that? He would never do that.
Yeah, why would no?
No, but it's not about what he would want to do. This is all Dreamcast.
So, yeah, like.
Provided he wanted to do it, you don't think he'd be a good Superman?
So from Captain America to Superman?
He went from Johnny Storm to Captain America. Why not?
Yeah, but he's making that money.
I'm just saying, what if they gave him that money? No, come on. Did you see the first Captain America?
Oh, when they CG'd him up? And
I don't think that was CG.
They super had the dots on him, making him look more buff. If they had the dots on him, making him look like a midget, they had the dots on him, making him look more buff. The F out of here, bro. Because I see him in the Captain America suit. He don't look nowhere near that buff. Not even half that buff. All that muscles was CG,
okay, look at Avengers 2. He was pretty big in that when he was tearing apart the stuff while Tony was chopping him.
Nigga, they CG in the biceps.
Okay. So, but he would be a good Superman.
That pitch was digital, bro.
You can't lie.
That pitch was digital. I didn't just do that.
I can't see it.
You could. You could.
Superman's Keanu Reeves.
Honestly, because I think that Marvel did Superman better than Superman with Captain America. Yeah. Right? Like, Captain America encapsulates what Superman should have been in the DCEU.
What, a person with no powers who's on steroids?
No, I'm saying his character and his worldview and things like that.
What he was fighting for versus the reality of the world he was living in.
Oh, Courtney says, who directs Evans as Kal-El? That's easy. The guy who just directed Mission Impossible.
Oh, you talking about the latest one?
Yeah, the latest for MI6. Can't remember his name.
Right.
Oh. But that guy. And that's it. That's all I got. I think my picks were better than you guys. Mr. Johnson, you seem like you want to get out of here, so why don't you tell them where they can find you?
You can find me at The Dude Abides with a Z and a couple periods in between. And
Christopher McQuarrie.
Christopher McQuarrie, yes.
There we go.
All right. And Mr. Woods, where can they find you, good sir?
Why Woods, Why Not on most social media platforms or whywoodswhynot.com.
All right. And you can find me on your favorite social media network, as long as it's not Snapchat, at Steve A.M. Johnson. You can also find me tomorrow in our new primetime slot on the second page, where we will keep you up to date on all that's going on at the White House and the Supreme Court.
Trump.
That's kind of what it is. But that's it, folks. That's all we got. Until the next one. Is a long episode. We missed you for those 2 weeks, but I promise you we'll be back next Monday on time with a show that is just about half as long. All right, folks. That's it.
Hugs not drugs.
Except my line.